On Wednesday, former President Donald Trump visited the town of East Palestine, Ohio. And while he was there, first he had made a speech and then followed it up by going to the local McDonald's. Here's how that went.
What's your specialty today?
How are you today? Nice to meet you.
Hello, everybody. That's a nice, beautiful looking group of people. So I know this menu better than you do, okay? I probably know it better than anybody in here. We're going to take care of the fire department.
Okay.
We're going to take care of the police department. And what we do is all the people that are eating right
I'm
now.
the owner, Mr. President.
So
How are you?
I don't have to give him.
That's right.
That's a good one to own, right?
Yes, it is. One of the best.
So we're going to take care of your fire police. We'll take care of that. Plus the people that are in here, they're going to get a nice free meal. All right?
I probably know the menu better than anybody in here. You know what? It's probably not wrong about that. From one large person to another. That said, look, obviously, it's numerous stories about how Donald Trump loves McDonald's, and honestly, that's probably actually one of the more normal things about him. I don't have a problem with that. What if though he loves McDonald's so much because the name Donald is in there? Oh, see, there you go. Maybe that makes sense, which would be the most Donald Trump thing imaginable. I don't know. Now I'm not going to be able to get that out of my head. But okay, look, fun aside, let me just get this out of the gate. Photo op, theater. That's what this is. Oh, of course. But it's politically smart theater. Look, normally I rag on Trump for being the dumbest man imaginable, the dumbest man alive. But in this case, he knows politics and he knows optics. And look, it's this. The reason here is not to praise him for this. The reason that I'm pointing that out is the fact that Democrats, you're going to have to learn how to do politics. And I don't mean stuff like kneeling in kente cloth, okay? No, you have to go and talk to regular people, and you do have to respond, and you know, you can't be like over rehearsed. One of the things that people like about Trump, other than the fact that he hates who they hate, right, is that he can seem approachable. You look at that clip and seems approachable, entertaining. Unfortunately, the state of our politics means that stuff, unfortunately, sometimes matters to certain people more than policy positions do. And that, again, that is the unfortunate state of our political system. Now, look, going into Ohio, saying, I care, I'm listening, I'm here for you. He's passing out water, Trump water. Is it big water? Ocean water? Is it the best water? I don't know. It could be.
Where the water rushes out to sea because you could never handle it.
Well, it was probably just like tap water from Mar-a-Lago, but it doesn't matter. That said, going to East Palestine to visit people, that's politically savvy. I hate to say it. It's politically savvy. It makes sense. Now, again, it's not that he cares, but optics. And that's the point. Trump's good at playing the media and good at getting media attention. Everybody's talking about it, right? As a result, this embarrassed the Democrats, which was the point. And then, of course, afterwards, Pete Buttigieg shows up and everybody's mad at him. Oh, why weren't you here before? Well, that's because you showed up right after Donald Trump. And it's because you were embarrassed. And by the way, he responded to that by saying, well, let me get the quote here. Because, yeah. He said this: there's a lot of drama in the community, a lot of emotion, and as you noticed, a lot of politics. Oh, sorry, that was a reporter. Here's what Buttigieg said to the reporter. What I tried to do was balance two things: my desire to be involved and engaged and on the ground, which is how I'm generally wired to act, and my desire to follow the norm of transportation secretaries. Allowing NTSB to really lead the initial stages of public-facing work, I'll do some thinking about whether I got that balance right. But I think the most important thing is, first of all, making sure that the residents here have what they need. So, look, just show up. Nobody cares about the norm, okay? And by the way, if the norm is when there are so many train derailments, as we have seen, as Buttigieg has admitted, there are train derailments literally all the time. I don't know, maybe that's not good to have as a norm. Maybe you ought to do something to change that, by putting forward regulation that, by the way, Donald Trump's administration got rid of. They listened to the train lobbyists who wanted to save a few bucks and said, okay, we're going to get rid of that rule. And that's, by the way, it is what led to this happening in the first place. So look, Trump shows up, hands out water, big water, says, I'm here for you. And the people, they're going to remember that. And regardless of the fact that, again, the Trump administration were the ones that deregulated the rail industry. It doesn't matter when the country has such a short memory. And by the way, let me add that before the right wing got involved, corporate media didn't really cover it all that much. The right wing then jumped on it. Progressives, we also focused on it. And I'm talking The Lever, which does fantastic reporting. Young Turks, this show, Rational National, Humanist Report. All of us, we talked about this. And we pointed out the facts. We said, yes, it's the Trump administration that removed the ECS brake rules. And that's after the lobbyists poured millions of dollars into the Republican Party. But we also noted that transportation safety head Pete Buttigieg had been MIA for 10 days after this had happened and had refused to reinstate the removed rule despite pressure from experts and rail unions when he was appointed to the office. And then, later on, when asked about it, finally comes out and says, I don't have the power to regulate. No, you do have the power to regulate. And of course, corporate media, covering for the Biden administration, didn't give as much attention to the story that it deserved. The right wing, of course, picked up on it. Trump shows up and embarrasses the Democrats. That's what happens. The political optics disaster, that's on the Democrats, whereas the actual disaster is squarely on the Trump administration. So now, again, Pete makes the trip too little too late. When it comes to the optics, they're going to look at Trump as a guy who showed up, and he showed up first. They're not going to know necessarily that, Trump and his administration and deregulation, and by the way, corruption, money in politics, is the reason this happened in the first place. So when I say Democrats are not good at politics, this is what I mean. And look, if you're making fun of, Trump going to McDonald's, that's fine, right? But also understand that him going to McDonald's and saying, I know this menu better than you do, that might actually make people like him more. Because it makes him seem relatable, even though he's not. So, look, the whole point that I'm trying to make, I know I'm talking to an audience of like progressives and liberals and a few haters, you guys, the thing that you have to understand about normies, the people who do not pay attention to politics as much as we do, who are not immersed in the politics like we are, they don't know the majority of things that Donald Trump has done. And depending on their media diet, they might know next to nothing at all. They might even think that, it's the Democrats. Must be their fault. They might have even heard that, correctly, by the way, that it was the Biden administration that had broken a planned strike by labor unions. The labor unions were warning the company saying, this is going to happen. We have lax safety standards here, and we do not have enough people to watch these trains. This particular train, 141 cars long, or I believe it's 144, sorry, with only 3 people, that's 2 crew members and 1 trainee to this train. And by the way, the industry, Norfolk Southern, the company itself, wanted to go down to 1 employee per train. It's absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. The union was saying, we want to strike, because there's not enough people here. We don't have any paid time off, so we don't have any sick leave or anything like that. And there's, and they're refusing to update and upgrade their Civil War era braking system. We got to do something about it. The Biden administration said, no, we're going to side with the corporation, the company here, and break your strike so you don't have the power to strike. And then we're just going to move on. And that's exactly what they did until this derailment happened. Talk about the Democrats being absolutely embarrassed politically, optics-wise, by the Republicans, who, again, do not give a damn about the people in East Palestine, Ohio, and are the ones that actively deregulate. And so, look, this is a disaster in more ways than one, and it could have been avoided